In this video, we're going to take a look at what you have to do if you have to no-show a student from a provisional enrollment. I will start by saying this video should be used for training purposes only, that no real students or data will be displayed in this video as we use a sandbox server full of fake students and fake data. Any likeness to any real person is purely coincidental. So in our school enrollment area, we have provisional enrollment. Provisional enrollment is where students land if you try to enroll them or deliver them from a third party. So if you have an online enrollment, those will deliver to an E90 status, or if you try to enroll a student where we have state locator issues or they've not been transferred from the other district at all or properly, they will show in these areas right here. Now, typically, you don't want to no-show from a provisional enrollment. You really want to always resolve them because either one, the student is going to be coming to you, or if it's a case where the student is provisionally enrolled and then all of a sudden parents come and say, no, they're not going to go to you, they're going to go to another district, you would want to still resolve the enrollment to pull them in as an e-enrollment and then do a proper transfer out process with a state transfer out code. The reason for that is it will leave them in an enroll status of 2, which is a transferred out status, so that we see it correctly in the state data and see that they are doing a proper transfer. If you do a no-show from provisional, it will actually leave the student in an inactive status, which is not good for your state data. However, there are some situations that occur where you must do a no-show in here and then do corrective action after the fact. This could be that this student, so let's say we have Obby Claus right here, who we had started to pull in from this district, but all of a sudden they decided, nope, they're going to go back to the other district, and the other district has already re-enrolled them. So if that's the case, or maybe they have not withdrawn them because they decided they're not leaving altogether, you wouldn't be able to resolve it because it shows as an enrollment already. So really resolving it would just throw them into another one of these E99 errors, and you need to get the student out. In those cases, you would want to no-show them from here. So you would click on the no-show button, and I'm going to save this student number right quick just so I have it for quick reference. And the student is set to no-show successfully. So it really puts that record in there. Now let's go to the actual student record. Here I go find my student. And here is where the issue arises, where you'll need to take action. So you're going to go to school enrollment and go into enrollment history. And you see here that, one, it uses an NS code as an exit code, which is not our no-show code. That is an NS-1, but in this case, the student would have been a transfer somewhere else, and you want that proper code on there. Also, you do not want this entry code of NS. This should be an E entry code. And thirdly, this inactive status right here, which is an enroll status of 1, which is not good for your state data. So what you would have to do after you do this provisional no-show, you would need to use student field values to update this exit code to the proper withdrawal code of whatever it should be. And then you would need to use student field values to update this inactive status to a truly transferred out status so that we can see it as a correct movement in state data. When you have done your corrections on your side, you would then need to put in a PowerSchool support ticket because only PowerSchool support would be able to adjust this entry code. This cannot be adjusted with student field values, with DDA, or anything on our end user side. Support has to go in and change that for you, so you would need to request that. So let's go in and update our exit code and update our enroll status for this student. So the student is still my current selection. And I am going to go to group functions, and I'm going to go down to change student field values. So the first thing that I want to do is look at this enroll underscore status field. So it is currently a value of 1. We want to get it to a value of 2. So I'm going to put enroll underscore status in the top field, a 2 in the bottom field, hit submit. It is going to load me a verification status. Are you sure you want the old status moved to a 2? Yes, we do, because we want it to be seen correctly. And so it is completed. So we're going to go back because we need to run one more on this one student. I also need the exit code to be whichever withdrawal code that we have. So if it's If it's a transfer in state, whatever it is, we have our list. I'll open up another tab just to show you, if you've never seen the data code manual, of our enrollment and exit codes. So you'll make sure that you open and know exactly which code to use. So if you know that they have transferred in the state to a different public school because maybe they didn't transfer out of the school that they told you, they went back to it, we would want to make sure that we do that a WB1. So you've got to know the codes, because here it doesn't give you a drop-down menu to choose them like it does on the traditional UI pages of transferring a student out. So if I want to use WB1, I would type that in there, hit submit. It's going to ask, do you want to change the old code from NS to WB1? The answer is yes, so I'm going to hit submit to confirm that. So now if I go back to the student, go back into Obby Clause, I will see that they are now in a transferred out status. We do not want any kids left in that inactive status. And I have the WB1. But this, you have to put in a PowerSchool support ticket to get them to update that back to an E code. So if you are forced in a situation where you have to no-show from a provisional enrollment, these steps will need to be taken to ensure your data reports correctly to the state and your students are seen as transfers appropriately for other applications such as cohort, etc. Hope this helps.